Hey y'all, welcome to Mama's Kitchen. I'm Mama. If you haven't been here before, thanks for dropping in. Today we're going to be making Ranger cookies. This is actually a recipe out of the Bread Beckers recipe collection. I've been wanting to make this for a while, and so today's the day that I'm actually going to do it. So I have all my ingredients out here, and I will share with you what is going into these cookies. Because I'm only going to make a half a batch till I see if we really like them as much as they sound wonderful, but you know. So I have one stick, the recipe calls for 2 sticks. I have 1 stick of butter, and it's really good butter. I have, let me see if I can show you this. I made my own brown sugar. I make my own brown sugar. So if you're not doing that, you might want to consider it. You just take granulated sugar and put it in your mixer and add, this was 4 cups, and I've used some of it, but 4 cups of, this is cane sugar that I get from Azure Standard, and about 3 tablespoons of molasses. And you just put it in there and let it run. It makes your own healthier brown sugar. So it takes brown sugar, she calls it sucanat with honey. It takes sugar, this is cane sugar. It's different colors because it was different batches. Organic, I get my organic oatmeal from Azure Standard. Her recipe calls for soft white wheat. This is going to be made with fresh milled wheat flour. So I'm actually going to use a combination of, this is soft white that I have accumulated in a couple of weeks and had it in my freezer, and some hard white. Now the white wheat berries flour is not as strong tasting as if it has the red, hard red wheat berries. So I'm going to use a combination of those 2 flours. Pecans, and I did chop my pecans on my Norwex cutting board. If you don't know about the Norwex cutting board, they're made out of rice husk, and your knife is not going to cut into it, so you're not going to get any they're not made out of plastic. You won't get plastic residue into your food like a lot of things. They're very sturdy, last forever. So I did chop my pecans on my Norwex cutting board. I don't have organic coconut, so I do have this Baker's in my fridge. Organic vanilla. Some, they call them organic eggs. I got these actually from the grocery store. I don't think you can see them, but it calls for 2. I have 1. I use Redmonds Real Salt because it's healthier than, it's got the minerals in it. My grandmother said always use Clabber Girl baking powder, so I use it and have for 50 years now, over 50 years. Not sure that's the healthiest, but that's what she said. And I have organic soda, baking soda. So, I think I've shown you all of the ingredients. And so, let me get back here and get them all measured out, and I'll be back. Okay, y'all, I'm back, and we are now going to put these cookies together. Let me get this recipe over here. And so you can see the mixing bowl. We're going to cream the butter, the brown sugar, and the other sugar, which is called cane sugar. I have them here together. So let me put these sugars in the bowl. I think I'll cream this butter first for a little bit. I'm going to add the sugar. The 2 sugars, and we're going to let it go until it's creamy. Now if you use the cane sugar, you're going to find that it is grainier than white sugar because it is not processed as much. So I'm scraping down the sides. My grandmama always said, be sure you scrape down the sides of your mixer several times. And so I do that, and you probably do too, but we're gonna let it roll some more. until it's creamy. Okay, y'all, it's pretty creamy. So now I'm going to add, I have put my vanilla in with my egg. And so you add your vanilla to your egg, and you're going to put both of those in there. And we turn the mixer on again, and we let it beat. It says beat well. And it's getting very creamy. I do have a little bit on here I need to get into the mixture. Okay, I have put my soda, salt, baking powder in this little bowl. These little bowls are from Pampered Chef. And I'm going to add that to the flour. And as you see here, what I did was I've got 1 cup of the soft white flour and a 1/4 cup of the hard white flour. So I'm going to mix those together with these spices, salt. They're not really spices, I guess. Salt, baking powder, and soda. The next thing that's going to go in is going to be these dry ingredients. So I'll be back. Okay, you can see that I have added, you see that, to the dry ingredients. I'm going to put it on low and stir those in. There's not much moisture in here. That's a little bit concerning. There's only the butter and the egg. We'll see how this is going to turn out. I still have to put 1 1/4 cups of oatmeal in there. Now, when you deal with fresh milled flour, you often have to add some extra liquid because the fresh milled flour needs to hydrate. It wants liquid. So once I get all of this mixed in together, I will determine. I'm going to let the cookie dough set aside and see what if I need to add extra liquid. Now goes in the oatmeal, coconut, and the pecans. I use pecans. It just says nuts. My husband thinks if I make anything that doesn't have pecans, it's not worth eating. So I put in about 1/4 cup of oatmeal and about 1/2 cup of pecans, although a 1/2 batch would have been 1/4 cup of pecans. I added extra pecans for him. 1 1/2 cups of the, I use quick oats. It calls for rolled oats, so we'll see how they turn out. Now I'm going to let this mix for a minute. I'm going to let it set aside for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and see if I need to add extra liquid. Hey y'all, here's our cookie dough. I did have to add a tablespoon of, I chose to add water, and the reason being is that one of my grandmother's oatmeal cookie recipes had a tablespoon of water. So I added a tablespoon of water. I felt like the dough was a little bit dry, and so it's not dry like it was. So now I'm going to scoop it out, put it on my silpat. You can use parchment paper. I sometimes use parchment paper. This is just easier. So I will be back. I did flatten these out a little bit. I only put 8 on this sheet because I'm not sure how much they'll spread, if they'll spread at all. So getting ready to put them in the oven, 350 degrees, and she says for 10 to 12 minutes, so I'll set it for 10. Okay, y'all, the first ones of the cookies came out. I actually bake these about 12 minutes. At 10 minutes, they weren't done yet, so 12 minutes, they're about 2.5-inch cookies. So I'm getting ready to put the rest of them in. Okay, y'all, all the cookies are out of the oven. Look at these beautiful cookies. They are gorgeous. Ranger cookies. Now they have the fresh milled wheat flour. They have cane sugar, the coconut, nuts. They're kind of like an oats, like oatmeal cookies with nuts and coconut in it. So they're really tasty. Now we're going to have a taste test right now. Here's the cookie. Can't wait. Crunchy on the outside, moist on the inside. This cookie is a keeper. Remember, I did add 1 tablespoon of water because the cookie batter was a little bit thick because of the fresh milled flour. But my grandmother's oatmeal recipe that went back to the 60s had a tablespoon of water in it. And they turned out great, y'all. I hope y'all make these cookies. I'll put the recipe in the description box. Love y'all. Have a great day. These are the cookies, y'all. Now they're going in the cookie jar.